Greetings, Dr. Jeffrey Scott here. This is my Market MRI Pro update for Tuesday, May 20th, 2025. I was going to call this Inside Bar Day, but I just thought I'd just call it what it was. Consolidation after recent gains. Now, an inside bar, it just tells me consolidation. It can be continuation or it can be reversal coming, but market's pausing to figure that out. Again, it's May 20th, 2025. My email address, marketmripro@gmail.com or htsidoc@gmail.com. My Google group is Top Down Trader. Please consider joining. It's free. You get notification when I do these programs, and you'll get some videos that I don't post on YouTube and educational opportunities and discounts. This is for educational purposes only. Anything I talk about should be taken in the spirit of education, not investment advice. The intent of the videos demonstrate the tools of top-down analysis, specifically in this product program, Market MRI Pro. Trading involves risk. You and your owner are solely responsible for any investment decisions you make. I may own or intend to buy or sell any stock mentioned in this report. Trading stocks and options should be considered risky. You should consult with your financial advisors before making trades. And I have tools in multiple platforms, but this evening we're going to focus once again on my new tool built by Praveen, Market MRI Pro. Coming up in about 2 weeks, I'm working on the agenda now. I just got to get the times for John Person and Matt and their topics. It's June 6th through 8th at Tustin, Orange County, California, at the Residence Inn and Suites. It is intended to be and made to be a low-cost meeting. $400 for 5 speakers, 3 days of great education. There is an internet option available as well as in the room if there's any seats left. For more information, contact Greg Mills at gam72054@aol.com. Outside speakers confirmed thus far: John Person, Dan Fitzpatrick, Chris White, and Matt Caruso. I think this is just a fantastic group, and I'll be doing a lot of the talking inside the room. You'll get all the videos, even if you can't be there, and PowerPoints from me. My Google group, again, it's called Top Down Trader. There's no cost. You'll get discounts. You'll get opportunities you don't get without being a member. Please consider joining. It's what I use for a mailing list because I'm tired of being spammed by family members or getting back that it's spam. We're going into Wednesdays. You could see, whoops, you've got Richmond Feds and Tom Barkin and Fed Governor Michelle Baumann taking part in a Fed Listens event. And then going into Thursday, 24 hours later, we've got the jobless claims and we got some PMIs. News have been kind of light this week, and markets just seem to be coasting and maybe running out of some gas. Earnings Wednesday morning that matter, probably Target, might be important to some of you. TJ Maxx. In the afternoon, we will have Snowflake, probably the big one, and Zoom. Futures at this hour are relatively flat. They're down just a teeny weeny bit. And after hours earnings, Palo Alto Network is probably the big one, down 4.2%. Wolf is down big, but if you're a growth stock investor, you're not looking at a stock that's on the verge of bankruptcy. And Toll Brothers was up 5.4% after earnings. So, judgment call to hold stocks over earnings dates. It's bad judgment to not know when your earnings date is scheduled, especially since that tool that I showed you is from earningswhispers.com and it's free. And you can find it posted on Twitter on Friday or go directly to their site. Starting with my daily briefing, again, this will update real time during the day. You just hit this and 2 seconds, 3 seconds later it'll be updated. Since we're after hours, it's not going to change. Bitcoin, the big winner, up 1.53, closing at the high of its range. Russell was up 0.05, and the rest were down. Diamonds down a quarter. Dollar down 0.29, Q's down 0.33, Spider down 0.34, and volatility was down a little bit, 0.72. Over here, the new high, new lows at 52 at the 52 weeks or 12 months. Not a big number, but positive on both the NYSE and the Nasdaq. If we look down here on the S&P 500 spiders, you could see what I would call just a little defensive day with staples, utilities, healthcare up at the top. Energy, the big loser, despite oil being higher. And we look at themes: gold and silver, clean tech, biotech. Biotech is showing up here. It's now up 9% over the last 50 days, but it's coming off such a depressed amount, it's hard to even notice. Let's just focus on the percentage of advances. You can see it was not a strong day. On the S&P 1500, it was 35%, 48% on the Nasdaq, and 38% on the NYSE. The buckets reflect that as you see more gray bars above the colors on the right, which means the stocks are moving towards the left, and you can see the stocks are poking up. I still see a strong appearance here. It's a little bit weaker than it was, and certainly not overbought or oversold, and no signal. Market breadth, the thing that surprised me the most was not that we're starting to roll over a little bit on the stocks above. These are breadth indicators above the 20, 50, and 200. Not quite as much starting to roll over on the Nasdaq. But we got another bango on the Nasdaq today, even though the Nasdaq kind of had an inside bar and kind of a doji looking bar. That's just interesting to me that we would see this exuberant signal at the same time as we're getting an inside bar. Now, if we look at new high, new lows, we know they were positive, as you can see here on both NYSE on the left, Nasdaq on the right. AD lines were positive on the Nasdaq, not on the NYSE. Again, most of the stocks were down, or majority. And if you look at the up-down volume, positive on the Nasdaq. So an outperformance on the Nasdaq, and probably at the QQQE level. Maybe we'll take a look at that in a few minutes. In fact, let's just look at the QQQE. If the Nasdaq is showing strength, I missed one of my cues, but the S&P 1500 is not, then you wonder if it's the equal weights, and didn't really have much of a session. It was down a little bit on the equal weights. Or actually, hold on a second. Let me just add something here. Nope, I can't because this is not that version yet. So QQQE, it closed at 95.20 and the prior session closed at 95.30. So it was down a dime. Not really doing much at all. Let's go into the timing briefing and you'll see the weeklies. You can see we've got down candles on the spider, the Qs. The diamonds are actually up so far on the week, and the Russell, despite strength on Tuesday, is down. But we're all still in about the same range, kind of going, maybe starting a little bit of consolidation. And more importantly, the buy-sell signal has not flipped. Even if we drop below the WMA, it takes a while for the bongos to follow. What's faster moving is the daily, and the dailies are still in a green. I will also point out that except for the Qs, which is interesting that it's down, and that might be a data problem, the high-low jump, the 13-week new high, new low on most of the indexes is at a high point, just saying that short-term we're probably getting a little bit overbought. If we look at the index charts, you can see minus 0.34 on the spiders. It just looks like we're starting to, not sure we're going to roll over, but we're at least pausing. On the Qs, down 0.33, the same picture. The diamonds, it doesn't look like it's starting to roll over yet, but certainly consolidating, down 0.25. And Russell's clearly in a consolidation area, even though it was up 0.05 in the market. The VIX was down 0.28, and the dollar traded down a little bit, 0.29. If we look at commodities, we can see a huge move by gold and silver. Gold up 1.86 after a pullback to the 50. Silver taking out the 50 here up 2.41. Those look interesting. Oil struggling to get above the 50, was up just a teeny bit. And natural gas got back above the 200, but it's really not something I'd be chasing until it took out that 50, which is falling, was up 8.5. And we could see, this is so sensitive, that the 10-year was down, was up 0.11. It opened higher, opened, traded much higher, and closed above the open. It was still up, but it gave up much of its gains, and same as the 30-year, which was up in the session 0.61. So, assessment of the market is we are consolidating after a big gain. A pause here to refresh would certainly not be horrible. Even a retest of the 200, or as we're getting the crosses above the 200 of the other moving averages, would be okay. But looks like we may be running out of steam going into a holiday weekend, with Monday being Memorial Day. On the ratio charts, I think all we're going to really see is that discretionary was down, technology was down, healthcare up, utilities up, staples up, real estate up. That rotation into the more defensive industry groups. And industrials continues to do very, very well here. So the heart of the program is the timing layout. This is the basic chart that I use. I'll do some, maybe have to do a live one of these soon so we can talk about how I use the tool to trade. I am going to be doing and I'll put the invite in the remarks section. I'm going to do a live session on Memorial Day. I'll do my weekend review, show how I use this tool. But I just wanted to pay homage to somebody who is really important to me, and that's Ian Woodward, who taught me so much. And we'll show you where his indicators come from. We'll talk about HGSI as another platform that I use, and give you some definitions of what some of these things mean. If we look at the top-down perspective and we look at what was moving, and this is all 3,500 stocks. It's not the S&P 500. And we could see that healthcare had some strength. We also saw biotech looked interesting. Here are the 685 healthcare stocks. And if we rank this by what's working the best, we see it's biotech, plans, and pharmaceuticals. So let's look at those three. We'll add the next two. And so we've got here 432. Let's drop on them a couple things. Let's go 500,000 shares and $5. Hit OK. Let's rank by short-term momentum. Let's just take a look at what we see. AKRO. Up here you can look for earnings, and typically when I find it here, the earnings are there unless it doesn't look like it's an IPO. All right, we'll come back later and look for earnings again. Securities investigation to reach out into it. When you see this, when the stock is up 24%, I wonder if there wasn't a takeout. So I'm seeing all kinds of investigations, and I'm probably going to pass on this. Why we don't have earnings, I don't know. All right, let's just leave that. Check the next one. PTIX is another biotech stock. It was down in the market today, 38%, no interest. Regeneron, this is probably one of my favorite. This, Vertex, Amgen are some of the, I think, Gilead, some of the blue chips within biotech. And if you want to buy a blue chip cheap, that, maybe it's put in a double bottom down here, that took out the 50 on a big move with decent volume. It just recently purchased 23andMe for a song. You can see it makes big earnings, although they have dropped from where they were, which is why the stock has come down. Forward PE is only 18%, 18 rather, which is a lot less than it used to be. You can see it makes a lot of money. Does not pay a dividend. Well, actually here it says $3.52. So I guess that's like less than a half of a percent. So I've always liked Regeneron. It looks interesting here. If healthcare is going to rotate in, and healthcare has been out for such a long time, this is a blue chip. Now, the downside of any biotech or pharma right now is called MFN IRA, which are the attempt of the Trump regime to reduce drug costs, which may or may not be a bad idea. United Healthcare, sort of the other end of the drug cost story, in that, where are you, United? There you are. And that United Healthcare probably gains with that. Now, a lot of these sold off with the disappointing earnings from United Healthcare. And then they're all starting to go back. So this one, we'll see Humana next, Elevance, and a couple more. They're all beaten up. Their Medicare Advantage rates went up, but they're all having challenges there, and that's been a tough part. Plus, there's a lot of potential issues against their PBMs and pharmacies. Big sell-off. At some point, they got to be a great buy. Maybe it's here, but I think it's risky. Here's Humana. Not nearly as bad, but you've got that major reversal candle here. And then here's Elevance. We'll skip, which same thing, a big reversal here. So they're all trying to fight their way back. I'm not sure they're out of heat yet. BioNTech, this was one of the COVID vaccines trying to come up with different stories. So, looking through healthcare, are we seeing great things? I'm not buying things like that. So what we're seeing, here's another one of those blue chippers, Vertex. This thing did more for CF patients than probably the whole history of healthcare. And you could see stubbed its toes in August here. I don't know what that was, a charge or something, but pretty consistent earner, PE forward of 26. Earnings are not due to August. They don't look great because they've been beat up. Mirus. Now, I will tell you that the cancer meetings are about a week away, 10 days away, called ASCO. And a lot of the small biotechs will run based upon data at that meeting. I'll start to look at the abstracts and maybe talk about it on that Monday session that we're going to do. So I'm not seeing anything, 89 bio, cheap stuff, that's really jumping up and saying, buy me, buy me. And I think so far my favorite of going through this, this might be it here, is Verona Pharma. It's a much more expensive stock than some of the other biotechs, obviously not for Regeneron or Vertex. Had 1 quarter of making earnings and revenue growth. I wonder if they brought something to market. Silencing the doubters. Oh, that's an interesting positive comment. And if I wanted to read that, which I don't right now, I could just click on this, and we've got it set up. So we'll pull up enhanced studies at ATS May 6th. So must be some exciting data coming out for Verona. So if I had to pick technical, this one just took out this high. I really like this. I probably would say that's the best looking chart. Company-wise, I love Regeneron, and I wonder if this wouldn't be an interesting time to buy some. Maybe they both work, and they work for different reasons. Let's go back, check Acro, see if we still don't get technicals. Nope, must be something wrong with that feed. So I wanted to look at healthcare, and I think we found one that looks really good, which is VRNA, certainly is a leader now. Lots of ways to play with top-down. I think it's great to be able to find the leading stocks and the leading industry groups with just a couple of clicks. A couple more things over the next couple of minutes. Let's add pullbacks and uptrend, which is my favorite pattern. It drops us to 219. Let's rank them by number of dots. I've got a $5 and 500,000 share filter on. Let's just look at some of these. TRNS, big move up, must be an earnings day, or it looks like it's an earnings day. 519. Not even good earnings. But I'll go through this list every night to see. Here is a gold stock breaking out. Gold right now looks good. Nuke, is this another one of those quantums that are starting to run? I like that picture. Volume breakout momentum, relative strength peaking up. Might take a look at that. Acro, here it is again. XYF financials. Notice now we got stocks at uptrends. Some of them actually look buyable. AMX is a telecommunication stocks, VOD. So I would still say my favorite stock looking through is Verona, and that nuke looks interesting. And here is one of the other that this weekend we looked at the quantum computer stocks, and this was definitely one that we looked at, qubits. Actually, I think we looked at 3 or 4 of them. That looks great. I wish, well, I bought the ARQQ. I wish I would have bought that one too. Let's see how ARQQ looks. I think it's ARQQ. Let's check ARQQ. Yep. And it looks similar, a little bit less of exciting of a candle here. One that we've been talking about off and on is Veristem, which has some interesting data and inexpensive biotech. Seems to have absorbed a secondary and gone higher. That's a very good sign. The market cap is teeny weeny for having an approved drug. Let's see what it says market cap is. It says the market cap is 400 million now. So it's gone up a lot, but with an approved drug in cancer, typically a market cap's 1 to 2 billion at the minimum. So I think there's more room there. And then because everybody always asks what I think about the, I guess I won't show. I thought I would have a list of the, I've got to take off my filters. I'll never learn, will I? If we want to look very quickly at just the mags, Amazon pulling back here, maybe flagging. I'd look for a breakout above that. APP, like the market, consolidating, maybe flagging. Google, same thing, flagging. Meta, flagging. Microsoft, wow. Inside bar, which wasn't a great bar in the session, but overall, I would say wow about Microsoft. Looks pretty darn good. Netflix looks great. A little bit of sideways move. Look how it absorbed the pullback on Monday on a downgrade and closed at the high 2 days here in a row. Nvidia also flagging, and Tesla consolidating. I think these look like they're resting like the market. So have a great session in the market. Give me feedback. What do you want me to do differently? Verona, Regeneron look good. Those quantum computer stocks and maybe Veristem are the things that I liked on this review. Have a great one, and think about signing up for our June meeting. Even if you can't be there live, you'll get the videos, you'll get the PowerPoints, and you'll get to be on the internet as much as you want. Love to have you. I do these. I don't for fun. I don't get paid for doing the meeting. I don't get my travel paid, which is why it's such an inexpensive meeting. But I really do it because I like doing it. And also come see me on Memorial Day, 10 o'clock Eastern. The link will be below. Thank you.